One bullet, one breath, one heartbeat suspended in time. It wasn't just a shot. It was a miracle wrapped in physics, carved from wind, born from silence. On a massive screen inside the Westgate Military Sniper Academy, grainy footage played in slow motion. The air shimmered with desert heat. Sand danced under a merciless sun, and through the scope's crosshairs a distant figure, barely visible, a speck against the horizon, stood unaware. Then, in a flash, the impossible happened. A single bullet launched from 2.7 kilometers away sliced through the swirling air, defying every law of ballistics, every instinct of probability. It curved with the wind, dropped with gravity, and struck its target with surgical precision. One shot, one kill, zero margin for error. The training hall erupted. Cadets jumped to their feet, whistling, clapping, shouting in disbelief. "Who the hell was that?" someone yelled. "SEAL Team 6, another guessed. "No way, Delta Force, that's next-level shit." "It's Ghost 11, a quiet voice said from the back. Silence fell like a knife. All eyes turned. There in the last row sat a small female cadet. Brown hair pulled back in a tight, practical knot. Shoulders slightly hunched as if trying to disappear. Her name tag read, Elise Thorne. She hadn't raised her hand. She hadn't looked up, but the words had slipped out, soft, certain, final. "I took that shot," laughter exploded. Sharp, mocking, cruel. "Seriously? You?" Davidson, a mountain of a man with a buzz cut and a permanent sneer, turned in his seat. "You couldn't even lift that rifle, let alone fire it from 3 clicks. Others joined in. "Yeah, right, and I'm the Queen of England." Maybe she was the spotter's daughter, but Elise didn't flinch. She didn't look up. She just sat there, fingers gently rolling a single bullet between her thumb and forefinger. A bullet engraved with tiny cryptic markings, plus 1.2 vertical bar 4W vertical bar final win confirmed. And in that moment no one knew, not even Colonel Hayes, the instructor at the front, that the girl they mocked was the legend they worshipped. Elise Thorne, 26th Austrian-Swiss descent. 5 feet 2 inches, petite, unassuming. The kind of person who could walk into a room and leave without anyone noticing. She wasn't built like a soldier, not like the towering recruits who strutted through the academy halls, their boots echoing like war drums. She didn't brag. She didn't wear medals. She didn't talk about war zones or combat kills. Her file? Blank. No commendations, no elite units, no battlefield citations, just a name, a birth date, and a signature. On paper, she was invisible. In reality, she was a ghost. From the first day of training, Elise blended into the background, while other cadets roared about their battlefield exploits. "I was in Fallujah. I trained with the French GIGN. Elise said nothing. She listened. She observed. She remembered. During physical training, she didn't show off. She didn't try to outdo anyone. She just did her push-ups. Perfect form, every single rep. When Davidson, the Academy's self-proclaimed alpha, sneered at her. "Hey, little mouse, maybe you should consider nursing school." She didn't respond. She just kept going. The others laughed. "Diversity hire," someone muttered. "She'll wash out by week 2. But Elise didn't wash out. She endured. She trained, she watched, and she waited. In the classroom, Elise always sat in the back, never took notes, just stared, quiet, focused, absorbing. During a ballistics exercise on wind calculation, the entire squad struggled. The numbers didn't add up. The trajectories were off. The target was missed by 3 centimeters, a fatal error at long range. Elise spoke from the corner, voice barely above a whisper. "Adjust back 7 degrees, aim 4 centimeters lower." No one listened. The instructor, Colonel Hayes, reviewed the results. Someone had the right answer, he said, scanning the room. But apparently nobody thought it was worth listening to. A few heads turned toward Elise. She was already packing her gear, expression unreadable. That night in the mess hall, Davidson cornered her again. "Think you're some kind of genius, Thorne?" "No," she replied, cutting her food with surgical precision. "I just pay attention to details that matter." "Details?" Davidson laughed. "Like what?" "Your nail polish." Elise looked up for the first time. "Like the fact that you consistently pull left when you're angry. Your breathing changes, your dominant eye shifts. You'll never hit anything important until you learn to control your emotions." The table fell silent. Davidson's face turned red. He opened his mouth to argue, but couldn't. Because she was right. His shooting scores were public, and they were terrible under pressure. While other cadets complained about cleaning their rifles, Elise worked in silence, methodical, precise, almost ritualistic. She didn't rush. She didn't skip steps. She treated her weapon like a sacred tool, not a toy. Because she knew the truth. A dirty rifle means dead soldiers. Her movements were economical. Every motion had purpose. Every component was inspected, cleaned, reassembled with the focus of a surgeon. And in her small canvas pencil case, she kept one thing: a single bullet. Hand engraved with tiny markings, plus 1.2 tau 4W to final win confirmed. No one ever asked about it. No one ever noticed the way she rolled it between her fingers during tough lectures, like a prayer bead, like a talisman. The other cadets saw weakness. They saw someone who didn't belong. They had no idea they were sitting next to a ghost. 3 weeks into training, Colonel Hayes dimmed the lights. "Today," he said, "we analyzed the most technically challenging sniper shot in recent military history." The screen flickered. Grainy footage, desert terrain, heat waves distorting the air. A target at 2.7 kilometers, moving, crosswinds at 15 miles per hour, thermal updrafts, canyon currents, one shot, one kill. The cadets erupted. "That's SEAL Team 6. No, that's Ghost 11, the myth." Davidson turned, smirking. "Hey, Thorne, think you could make a shot like that?" Laughter, pointing, mockery. Elise didn't look up. She spoke softly, and so quietly only the front rows heard. "I took that shot." The laughter grew louder. "You? With those little arms? You were probably in high school playing with makeup." But Elise stood. She walked to the front, picked up a marker, and began writing. Numbers flowed from her hand. Wind angle, rotational drift, gravitational drop, Coriolis effect. Every figure matched the classified ballistics report from that mission. Data never released to the public. The room fell silent. Captain Marcus Webb, grading papers in the corner, suddenly stood. He had been the forward observer during that exact operation. He knew things no one else did. "Show me your hands," he commanded. Elise extended them. Webb examined them like evidence. Her left index finger, calloused in a specific pattern. Her right hand, webbing scarred from gripping a Barrett M107A1 for hundreds of hours. Webb's face went pale. "Jesus Christ, you're Ghost 11. The name hit like thunder. Ghost 11, the mythical sniper who appeared in impossible situations and vanished without a trace. "That's impossible," Davidson stammered. "Ghost 11 is male. Bigger? Older?" Elise finished. "Does it matter?" She turned to the board. The wind that day wasn't just crosswind. There was thermal updraft from the rocks, rotational current from the canyon walls, and a pressure front moving in from the east. Standard calculations would have missed by 8 feet. 12 soldiers would have died. Webb nodded. "The ambush. We didn't know it was coming until that shot broke it." "How did you account for all that?" a cadet asked. Elise smiled. the first real smile in weeks. I used a shoelace. She pulled up her sleeve, a thin red cord, parachute cord, wrapped around her wrist. When your electronics fail, you improvise. This little piece of string saved more lives than any computer. The class stared. This wasn't the mouse in the corner. This was a legend. Later, Webb pulled Elise aside. Your file is classified above my clearance. Why are you here? Why train as a cadet when you could be teaching instructors? Elise looked out at the range. Because no one should have to face what I faced. Alone. The red cord wasn't just a keepsake. It was braided during a 48-hour siege. It was her wind gauge when all equipment failed. It helped her make 3 impossible shots. In 2019, Elise was 20. Not military, not authorized, not even officially present. She was there because of her father, Master Sergeant Robert Thorne, primary sniper of Kraken Unit. 3 days before the mission, Robert suffered a concussion. Grounded. The mission couldn't wait. Robert made a decision. My daughter, he told Colonel Hayes, she's been training with me since she was 12. She reads wind better than most snipers. She can make shots I can't. Absolutely not, Hayes said. She's a civilian, no authorization. But Hayes had seen her shoot. She outperformed seasoned soldiers. The compromise? Unofficial. Elise would go as a field observer, carry her father's rifle, only for emergencies. Operation Silent Echo launched at dawn. 12-man unit, 18-hour infiltration. But intelligence was wrong. It wasn't a supply convoy, it was a trap. At 3:47 a.m., Kraken Unit walked into an ambush. Machine guns, RPGs, radio jamming. Their sniper, Staff Sergeant Morrison, was wounded. They were pinned. No overwatch, no extraction. Then Elise made her move. She low-crawled 200 meters, dragging the Barrett M107A1. No spotter, no communications, no backup. Position unstable. Wind brutal. But she had trained for this. First shot, 1,847 meters. Machine gun nest, moving target, crosswind, hit. Second shot, 2,100 meters. Enemy commander, partial cover, uphill, hit. Third shot, 2,743 meters. Enemy sniper, professional, elevated, impossible. She spent 37 minutes calculating wind shifts, temperature gradients, Earth's rotation. She pulled the trigger. The bullet flew for 4 seconds. It curved, it dropped, it struck. The enemy sniper fell. The ambush collapsed. Kraken Unit extracted. 0 casualties. But there was a problem. Elise wasn't supposed to be there, so they erased her. Official reports credited the shots to Ghost 11, a classified designation. Elise received nothing. No medal, no recognition, no record. She saved 12 lives and disappeared. Now she was back, not for glory, not for revenge, to teach, to make sure no one else gets erased. After the revelation, things changed. Cadets stopped mocking. They started listening. Davidson approached her. I owe you an apology, he said. I was too stupid to see what you were doing. Elise cleaned her rifle. You didn't know. Others came to her. How do you stay calm under pressure? Fear is information, use it. How do you shoot when your gear fails? Equipment fails, training doesn't. What if you're the only one who can take the shot? You do it because someone has to. On weekends, Elise worked with struggling cadets. No credit, no recognition. She taught them how to read wind using grass, how to estimate distance without rangefinders, how to breathe through fear. The military will teach you to be a good sniper, she told them, but I'll teach you to be someone who comes home. She emphasized decisions, when to shoot, when to wait, when not to pull the trigger. Every shot changes a life, she said. Make sure it's a change worth making. At graduation, Elise's scores were average, but her students carried something deeper. Rodriguez, now in Eastern Europe, wrote, met a resistance fighter. He spoke of a sniper. No name, just a savior. Chen mentoring new soldiers. There are people who saved your life. You'll never know their names. Pay it forward. Sarah, now an instructor. The most important shot you'll ever take is the one you decide not to take. At Westgate, Colonel Hayes added new lessons. Ethics, improvisation, mental resilience. He never named Elise. But the stories spread. The 2,743-meter target became a shrine. Cadets left tokens, a red string, a worn casing, a photo of family. Years later, historians searched for Ghost 11. Files were missing. But soldiers told stories, dozens, hundreds of quiet heroes, unseen saviors. The researchers concluded Ghost 11 wasn't a person, it was a legacy, a tradition of those who serve in silence. This story is for the helper who asked for nothing, the one who acted when no one was watching, the person who believed one right shot can save more lives than any applause. If you've ever been saved by someone who never wanted credit, say nothing, just live kindly and become someone else's ghost. Don't forget to subscribe. We tell the stories that shouldn't be forgotten.